I'm Dennis Casebier, and I want to welcome you to the Goffs Cultural Center. And the purpose of this brief film is to give you an overview of what you can expect here and what we're up to. The Goffs Cultural Center belongs to the Mojave Desert Heritage and Cultural Association, MDHCA for short. It is a 501c3 nonprofit corporation incorporated under the laws of the state of California. I want to describe what the association is. It has a very simple mission. The mission of the corporation is to gather together and preserve the history of the eastern Mojave Desert, an area roughly from Barstow eastward to the Colorado River, north to the southern end of Death Valley and over near Las Vegas, and south to 29 Palms. That's a huge piece of desert. We have here at the Goffs Cultural Center the most extensive collection of documentary materials that pertain to the history of the eastern Mojave Desert that exists anywhere. That includes a vast photographic collection of historical photographs numbering on the order of 120,000 images, an extensive collection of oral history recordings of the people that made the history out here on the order of 1,000 different individuals, a library of published books of about 7,000 volumes, on the order of 6,000 maps of the Mojave Desert region going back to the earliest time. In addition, here on the grounds, as you'll find out if you stay here long enough, we have gathered together an extensive collection of artifacts, old mining machinery, farming machinery, etc., that represents the history of the eastern Mojave Desert. One of the highlights is the Stotts stamp mill that's just recently been completed. It's a two-stamp ore mill, taken us nearly 10 years to get it put together, but it is now up and operating. The first non-Native American person to cross the Mojave Desert was Francisco Garces in 1776. And it just happens that we know exactly where he went across the desert, and he passed within a mile going east to west of where you are right now. This building was built in 1914 and served as a school until 1937. We acquired this property, and I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but we acquired this property in 1990, and the schoolhouse was in very bad condition. The association spent on the order of $250,000 to put it back like it was in 1914. And as you will see by the plaque out front, it is now on the National Register of Historic Places. In fact, at the time it got on the National Register, in 2000, it was the only one-room schoolhouse in all of Southern California on the National Register. As to the history of this region, there wasn't anything here in the Goffs area until 1883, when the railroad was built through here. Now that actually gets a little confused as to who built it, but the Southern Pacific Railway built it, then it became Atlantic and Pacific, then it was bought by Santa Fe, and here in recent years it has been taken over by the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railroad. And it's one of the great railroads of the United States. It isn't uncommon for there to be 100 freight trains a day coming through here. This line runs from Los Angeles, the port of Los Angeles, and there's connections to San Francisco, to Chicago.